So we are just popping some oil on here, prepping for some cupping for Soph. Soph has receptionistitis, which is just classic on the phone, at the computer all the time, tight neck and shoulders. Soph doesn't necessarily respond super well to dry needling, so she'll get sore at times, and people like it. I'm a big responder. When I get needling done, I get big twitches. Other people can get it done and not have too much pain and be quite good responders. There's a long version or long answer to why that happens, but basically Steve behind the camera will say cupping is another tool in the toolbox, and they're similar sort of tools, but here we'll start and go, what we're doing is creating a vacuum that basically sucks the air out of that space. You might have seen some of the, I guess, out of Chinese medicine, or people using hot rocks and things like that, or lighting a little flame under there to suck the air out, but this just does it for us. And so what we're doing, what the cupping does, is you can see already, it's stretching some of the soft tissue into that area, and increasing blood flow to that area as well. So we can target parts of the body that are tight, are stiff, have adhesions where our different structures of soft tissue can become a bit stiff, a bit tight, or kind of sticking to one another. If I make Steve look at old mate up here, muscle man, you can see some of the white stuff is fascia, but we actually have heaps more than you can see in the muscle man here. It's all over our body, and fascia is a tissue that people don't really talk about very often, and when our bodies are really good at healing themselves when we have blood supply. So think, have you ever had a sore neck or a sore part of your body, and then a day or two later it just feels better? Blood flow has come in, flushed out the inflammation that was a big part of why you were tight, knotty, or having pain, and then that goes back to normal. The muscles feel easier to move, all that sort of thing. And so here, in areas where, especially where you've had chronic tightness or chronic tension, cupping can be really effective to stretch and get blood flow to a number of types of connective tissue in that area. And while needling is very targeted to this spot is knotty and tight, let's beat it up, cupping is a little bit more broad, and lets us stretch and get blood flow to a whole range of area while at once, basically, which is helpful. So for here, the goal isn't necessarily, you might have seen Michael Phelps, or when the Olympics comes around, you always see the swimmers with the big bruises. Have you seen them, Soph?
Yeah.
And people always ask around Olympic time, oh yeah, what are those big marks? Has someone been like hitting them with a Coke can or something like that? I don't know, or giving them hickeys with the vacuum cleaner, I don't know. No, it's cupping. For them, it's to get extra range of motion. It's to relax their muscles when they're working really hard. Here, the goal isn't necessarily big bruises. The goal isn't necessarily for it to hurt a lot. Are you in any pain at the moment, Soph?
It's just a weird feeling. I wouldn't say it's painful. It's just...
Shouldn't necessarily hurt. The goal isn't for it to hurt. I would describe it as like the vacuum cleaner on your skin, or Tom giving you, or home Tom, not work Tom, giving you a hickey.
16-year-old boyfriend or girlfriend.
Yeah. I hope it's been a while since you've had a love bite. Steve's got one on him now. And then so you might see as well, sometimes physios or sometimes massage therapists will actually move the cup, and you'll get, I guess, redness and a pulling of those structures. The times when I'll be sometimes a little bit more aggressive with that, I don't love doing it, because I would perceive that when it gets really red and really bruised, and you can see some of the capillaries through there getting quite red, sometimes that's a little bit too aggressive. But I would do it for someone who's has scar tissue in an area, is really struggling to get movement in an area. So my knee, for example, when I was getting frustrated with it, I did some cupping on myself, and I was a little bit more aggressive, and I got more movement out of my knee, which was really helpful. But yeah, it's a bit of a horses for courses sort of treatment. Sometimes needling, sometimes massages is more effective for you, but sometimes this is, if you tolerate this better and it gets the effect that you want, there's no reason why you can't use cupping. So, cool. Any other questions, do you reckon?
I have a question.
What is your question?
If you put the cup onto a muscle that's like tighter, would that be more uncomfortable?
In theory it's going to be less likely to want to be stretched and relaxed. So just like when you say you're naughty and you try and stretch that muscle yourself, you want to resist that a little bit. So that's where but cupping is still going to be really effective there, more effective than stretching or a heat pack or something like that. But the key is always getting blood flow to that muscle, getting a neural response where your brain starts to relax that tissue instead of being fighting and tense all the time. And that's where needling, massage, cupping are kind of similar in a way, but getting the job done in different ways, if that makes sense. Cool.